Hello, I'm Marshall Flax. I'm a certified orientation and mobility specialist, and I work for the Wisconsin Council of the Blind and Visually Impaired. I'm going to talk to you today about orientation and mobility, and specifically about the canes that people who are blind or visually impaired use to help them get around. What is an orientation and mobility specialist? An O&M specialist usually has at least a bachelor's degree and very often a master's degree in orientation and mobility. This is a program where we are taught how to teach the skills that a person who is blind or visually impaired will need to be able to navigate independently in the environment. People who become O&M specialists can then go on to become certified and prove that they know the material and that they have demonstrated that they're able to teach it. What is orientation and mobility? Well, it's really two parts, just like the name says. Mobility is the mechanical part of learning to hold the cane and move it in a way that gives you the maximum protection for the least amount of effort and help to make you safe when you travel. And so that you're covering the width of your body as you move through the environment, and that you're not going to hopefully trip over something or fall off a curb or something like that. Orientation is the more cognitive part or thinking part, where you have to understand the environment through your remaining senses or your residual vision, the vision that you have left to work with, and understand strategies for how you're going to cross a street, how you're going to locate a house, how you're going to recover if you're crossing a street and you end up in a place other than where you thought you were going to end up. This happens quite a bit. How do you get help when you need help? So there's a lot of thinking that goes into orientation and mobility, and the thinking comes from understanding what's going on around you. There's a lot of information out there in the world available outside of your sense of vision. An orientation and mobility specialist, when teaching the orientation part, teaches you how to use all that information, how to be aware of it and how to use it. It is recommended that when a person gets a cane that they receive some orientation and mobility training. Canes come in different sizes, long ones, medium ones, and short ones. These are to accommodate the different heights of the person who uses them. So for the kind of cane that a blind person uses to check the surface in front of them, this cane is to be about 2 inches above the xiphoid process, or the bottom of the breastbone. There are also canes that people use for support, but while these do a good job of helping you with balance, they don't do a very good job of helping you check the surface in front of you. And there are also canes that you can carry in your pocket, little small canes for identification, in case you just need to let people know that you're blind or have low vision. Maybe if you're flying on an airplane or searching for a public restroom in a dimly lit area and it's hard to see if it's men's room or women's room, people might be willing to help you and answer your questions if one of these is visible. The long cane or tip-flow cane can be a rigid cane like this, where it's just one solid piece, often of aluminum, although it can be of fiberglass or carbon fiber, which is very lightweight. Or it can be a cane that folds up. Again, there are different materials, but they all allow the cane to be pulled apart, folded into a bundle, and then the little loop on the end of the handle strap goes around, and there it is. You can tuck it in your pocket, you can put it in your purse or your backpack for when you don't need it. So the two types of canes do two very different types of jobs. This support cane, with its wide rubber tip that grips the floor or the surface when you're walking, is made to support your weight and help you keep your balance. The other kind of cane that has a tip that's a hard nylon tip and very slippery is meant to glide across the ground as you move, looking for drop-offs and obstacles in your path. They don't work well doing each other's job. This little short support cane is terrible for finding your way, and if you try and support your weight with this cane with the kind of tip that I just showed you, it's going to slip out of the way and you're possibly going to fall and hurt yourself. Canes come in different sizes, different colors, different dimensions, and the tips of the canes also come in different styles. This style is called the pencil tip. It's the standard tip that new canes come with. They look like this or like this. There are always two ways that a tip can attach to a cane. One is hooking into the cord on the inside. The other is slipping over the tip of the cane. So the pencil tip is great because it's really light. It's the smallest of the tips. The bad news about them is it will catch or snag on every crack in the sidewalk, it seems like. It seems like there's a magnet between this and every little bit of grass growing up there. You can go a little bigger with a bigger, wider tip, slip on or hook in, and this one has bearings so that it rolls. Adds a little bit of weight, but it doesn't snag in the same number or the same small cracks that the pencil tip snags in. Then this one, this rolling ball tip is really great for some people. If you're in an area, if you live in the country and you want to use it on the field or on a gravel road or any place that's really rough, I won't say it'll glide across everything because that would make you think that it wasn't going to stick, but it's going to stick the least of all of these cane tips. Also, if you're a person who maybe has trouble making the movement of the cane left and right and lifting it off the ground each time, you can just let this stay on the ground and let it roll back and forth as you go. It's a little noisy on concrete, it's a little heavy, but you'll know if there's a drop-off, a curb or a step or something, because your cane tip will go over the edge. Other types of tips include this roller wheel. So you can just push it along. You wouldn't pick it up, you wouldn't move it, you just roll it along the ground straight in front of you. But what I've noticed is if you tip it, it tends to run off to the side, and you have to learn to keep it pretty straight. And one last one that I'll show you is this big disc that you can move back and forth on the ground, and it has bearings in it so that it'll roll back and forth. So there are different tips for different purposes.